and welcome again to another episode of Web3 Revolution. My name is Rex, and before we begin, please remember that none of what we talk about is financial advice. So, let's get right into it. Today we have a special episode talking about HBAR. Why is HBAR impressive? It's number 25 in the largest cryptos by market cap. This is a big, large cap. We usually cover small caps, we cover meme coins. This is a little different. As you can see, HBAR went from 40 cents at launch, all the way back to 50 cents, went down to under 10 cents, went all the way back to 35 cents, and now is back at 10 cents. So what is HBAR, and why should we even watch HBAR in the first place? The first thing we can say is the Hedera Council, right? Hedera Hashgraph is, in a way, the first true institutional blockchain, right? Like if I type HBAR, you'll see hello future, enterprise grade security. It has a lot of people in this, with institutional governance and a true public network governed by known institutions. So IBM is part of it, Chainlink's part of it. Like a lot of people use HBAR today in the more institutional sense. So, Red Swan, Hashpack, as you can see, a lot of people do use HBAR. It has an amazing number of transactions, a number of finality. Like basically, a lot of institutions do want to get into blockchain, and HBAR might be the easiest way for them since they're already integrated in many systems right now. So because of that, HBAR does see itself as like the institutional layer, right? Some people will argue that it's Ethereum, but Ethereum is still more decentralized than HBAR. So HBAR has a lot going for it. We're going to look at Hedera Council. I'm just going to see how big this is and what kind of future this might have. So the council members, as I mentioned, there's Chainlink, there's Repsol, there's IBM. These are a well-known company. Aberdeen, Dell, Mondelez International. These are like well-known people. Strategic partners, obviously, we might not know that. Global Blockchain Business Council. Okay, Davos, Switzerland, so we know what that's all about. They're in the World Economic Forum. Community partners, Hashgraph Online, Hashpack. Again, enough like big people. Now we're gonna look at the ecosystem as well. It's quite big, obviously. It's all about Hedera, Hashgraph. It looks like they're getting into science now, right? Decentralized science is a big narrative, which is also great. And looking at Hedera itself, maybe we can look at the network, we can look at the roadmap, decentralization, EVM compatibility, and it really shows what roadmap items have been complete and what is missing, which is really nice. And you can get started building right now. Just click that. You click developers, start building. Okay, it's bringing me to the same place. Let's go do documentation then. And yeah, you can see these HDKs, ways to build very quickly on Hedera. Hedera has everything it needs to be a top tier coin, and it is a top tier coin. Let's be honest. Look, if we click here, we just go cryptocurrencies, right? Basic. Bitcoin's number one with obviously almost 2 trillion market cap. But HBAR is right there at almost 5 billion. So, it really shows the difference between, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest. But also, let's be real, alts are doing very poor. And we're going to look at the Fear and Greed Index right now. We're going to pull up the Fear and Greed Index. Crypto market cap Fear and Greed Index, boom, right there. And you will see we're still in the fear zone. It seems like this was the worst when Bitcoin was at like 84, 85. It went back up to 93, I believe, on that day or something. Actually 96, it shows right there. And then now it's back down to the the high 90s, high 80s, low 90s. So the fear is still a little lower. Whenever there's fear, usually it's a time to buy. Obviously, you want extreme fear. You can see whenever it hit extreme fear, best prices to scoop in general. But this is not bad, right? It's a good time overall. Yeah, you can see extreme fear, November 21st. I think we all remember that day. Everything was just dumping. We're like, what's going on? Everyone's worried. Obviously, if you're smart, you bought. It was just too much fear going on. Prices dropping too fast, too quickly. Someone has to do something, and someone did. So here, with all this, basically considering we are in a fear moment, if we buy something and just are a little patient, HBAR has a clear 40 cent range thing, 30 cent range thing. It's at 10 cents right now. It could make sense. It's nice. It works, And obviously we can look at their little explorer right here. You can see number of transactions, 10 million people using it. It's pretty good. And there's some NFTs being minted. And, all transactions, I mean, they're going up. I mean, that's what, like a lot of transactions recently, token mint transactions going up. Everything seems like it's going in the right place with this. And then, you see the nodes. Hedera looks great. Now, to finish this point, we're going to look at just a little more in depth of the community, because at the end of the day, no matter how good a project is, if no one's using it, if there's no community, who's going to buy it? And this is where it gets very interesting, and you will see there's a massive community for this. I mean, we just go on X, Twitter, 500,000 followers essentially. That is massive. It's partnering with McLaren. It's getting, 400 likes. It's getting 151,000 impressions. Like, this is a big project. It makes sense that it's $5 billion. Now, the real question we should ask is $5 billion too little? Now, this is where we got to really look deeper in, as it's the trust layer of the digital economy. So it's trying to take some of Ethereum market cap. So let's look again at Ethereum market cap right now, right? Ethereum market cap is not doing well, right? Nothing's doing well. I mean, it's at 300 billion. So, I mean, you already see the difference of scale here. 300 billion, 5 billion. Obviously, there's a little in between. But, I mean, even from here to BNB at 120 billion or XRP at 115 billion, you already see the jump. Now, realistically, HBAR could take over, maybe, Cardano-ish. I think it's in that range of possibilities. So that's a 3x right there, and it can do a lot more than 3x if you think that this is possible. So HBAR really has amazing potential here. Finally, we're going to look at the other socials. I think that's always a good idea because it's on Reddit, it's on GitHub. Let's make sure that's still popping, and let's look at their Discord too. Why not? So Reddit. How many people? 20,000. It's not great. McLaren, international reach. It seems like it's doing the right things. As you can see, it's an active repository. We like to see that. Recently, this Guardian thing updated 11 minutes ago. So that there's a lot of contributors, a lot of things happening. Last 12 minutes. Adding external source data APIs. So these are constantly maintained by a big group of people. I mean, look, there are 98 people on this repo. That is massive. I usually do max 3. I mean, let's be real. You know how coding with a lot of people is a headache. 22,000 on Telegram. I mean, it's not much, but at this size of project, does it really matter? It doesn't. And 10,000 members in Discord. Again, this is going to be for your airdrops, for really getting deep into the community, maximizing your extractable value of the ecosystem and doing what you can. So, knowing all this, what can we say about HBAR? Some people are going to give their opinions, obviously, pump ripping, sentiment flip, blah, 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 review analysis, blah, blah, blah. What we can see on a greater macro scale, let's just look at the last year, is bearish, okay? I mean, there's no way around it. It could still go lower. That being said, if you look at the volume, there's none, and that is beautiful. We can take advantage of this no volume and accumulate very slowly. I would not buy, let's just say I have $1,000 to invest. I would not invest all 1,000 today. I would start $50 a day for 20 days. Why? Because the reality is this, let's just look at the 24 hours, the monthly. Yeah, the monthly looks bad too. I mean, it's fine. The point is you have time to build a position here. Therefore, take advantage of that and slowly but surely build your position so that you have HBAR at the center of your portfolio, and once it starts moving, you can take full advantage of it without stressing about the perfect timing. That's my personal opinion. Obviously, again, Dell white paper put HBAR as center, another proof of Dell is going to use Hedera hash graph, and therefore, $75 billion market cap, $95 billion of revenue. It's using HBAR. I mean, that is truly impressive. So we really see the value of HBAR here and how much advances it can do and how interesting that is as well. So, it accumulates slowly over time, and maybe after a while, once you have a nice position, you decide if you want to keep it forever, as this could be one of those hold forever. But, this is crypto. Crypto is risky. It does go through cycles. Even Bitcoin, technically, you can always buy, sell and buy back in. Just make sure to have some at all times, just in case it becomes the new world reserve currency, right? But, HBAR has a good chance of remaining on the top 25 ecosystem list. And because of that, as everything goes higher, HBAR will follow and maybe outperform the bigger market caps like Solana, Tron, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, for example. So it's a very interesting play with outsized gains that I highly recommend you take a look at and do a deeper dive and see if it makes sense for you. Anyways, this was Rex. I just presented to you Hedera Hashgraph, aka HBAR. I hope to see you in the next video.